Welcome to the next episode of Hashtag Save Our Streets TV. I am your host, William Rivas. Today we have two special guests. Our youth guest today is Miss Kalissa Martinez, who is a member of the Fresh Perspective Youth Mentorship Program at the Schenectady County Library Boynton Branch, and Mr. Rashaun Freeman. Hello guys, how you guys doing today?
How are you doing? I'm good.
Good.
Awesome. I'd like to tell you guys thank you very, very much for taking the time to come out and spend some time with us.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Talk to the people. We're going to tell them a little bit about yourselves. We're going to have a real good conversation, a real great episode today, and it's going to be fun. So we'll start with Miss Kalissa today. You're a member of our Fresh Perspective Youth Mentorship Program.
Yeah.
You've been a member for how long?
About 4 to 5 weeks.
All right. And how'd you hear about the program?
From my dad, and I seen stuff on Facebook about it too.
You hear that? That means our social media is lit, as the kids say, because she heard about it on Facebook. So our social media is moving. Thank you for coming out today. So really in the last 4 or 5 weeks since you've been involved with us, what has been your experience with the Fresh Perspective Youth Mentorship Program?
It's been a great experience. It's a great environment, a good club and program to go to, and just a good place to be with good vibes. Everything's good.
Awesome. So you also took part in our youth talent show, the event we did, A Night to Remember, in Proctor a few weeks ago. You were one of our youth volunteers, which as part of being in the Save Our Streets program, it's not just about coming out or going out and receiving rewards. It's also about volunteering and putting the efforts to help give back some. So we want to thank you for that. But you were here for that night and you had the real opportunity to experience that. What was the energy like?
It was great energy. Everybody that came out seemed very excited for it, and everybody just seemed happy to be there.
All right. So how old are you?
16.
What grade are you going into?
12.
All right. You go to Schenectady High School?
Yes.
We got to talk about that, right? So it's a young lady going to Schenectady High School right now. It seems like you're incredibly focused and you're doing very, very well. And a lot of times what people don't understand with our youth coming out of our community, there's a lot of things that they go through. How do you maintain focus?
I just always think to myself, you have to go for it. You have to just go do what you have to do. Go for your goals. You need to succeed. And I feel like that's important to me. Succeeding is very important to me.
That's awesome. So with all the things that you could get tied up in whether it's drugs or gangs or teenage pregnancy or all these other things, you've seemed to have found a way to, out of all that, continue to strive for success and push for greatness. And how hard is that, being a young lady and making those decisions?
It's very hard. You need to know what your priorities are, and you just need to tell yourself every day, you got this, you could do this, you need to do this. And that's what I do. You just tell myself every day that.
Now, something that we adults suffer from, and I'll be the first to say that, is we always believe, because we've been through certain things, that we always understand what's best for you guys, or what's the best way or the best program to create to help you guys. But why don't you take some time to really tell us adults, what are some of the things that we're not seeing? What things could we do better to help you guys?
I think what adults usually see, because looking at us, you guys are not our age. You guys don't know.
Listen,
everything.
You heard that. You heard it here first. Talk to him. Talk to him.
You guys don't know every single little thing that we go through, and it might seem minor to you, but it's not. It's major to us. It's a major thing to us. It could be the littlest thing. Failing a test, that it hurts, it does bad. But, but I feel like what you guys could just do is basically just try to look. I don't know how to explain it. Just try to
understand.
Yeah, be more understanding. Yeah. There you go. That's
adults.
Right.
Absolutely. Be more understanding. No. What else? Talk to them. Listen. You listen. This is your
opportunity.
Be
more open. Basically, be more open to our problems, whether it's little problems or bigger problems. I feel like you guys should just be more open. That's
all right.
All.
So, if you had the opportunity to express some motivational words or some motivation for your fellow youth in the community, because our social media is already lit. Hashtag Save Our Streets. Check it out. We live. And this video, we're going to put this up so even everybody who doesn't see it on TV, which is going to be an older crowd, we're going to put it in a way in which we can get it to a younger crowd. What is your message to youth your age?
My message is no matter what it is, no matter what sets you back, don't give up. Don't give up. You can do it. You can do it. The outcome might not be how you wanted it to be, but you could do it. Just try.
That's
all. You should just try.
And if you could leave one message to us wonderful adults who think we know everything, what would that message be?
Like I said before, I just be open. Just be more open to your children. Just listen.
All right, you heard it here first from one of the young people in our community. She's dropping knowledge for all you old people who think you know everything, including myself. Because I work with kids, and I always think because of my experience and my background that I already have a lot of the solutions for them. But you hear it first out of the mouth of babes, as they say. And I think that's something we should really take heed and listen to. So we thank you very much, Ms. Martinez, for taking the time to come out with us today and drop some knowledge to us older folk. Mr. Freeman, listen, it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you. And again, all things that make sense, and you coming back and experiencing and helping to build the community and working with our youth, to be sitting with one of our youth with the community. How are you doing?
I mean, I'm doing great, actually. When I came home from Israel, I didn't think that I was going to be able to do as much as I did this summer in the community. But, I feel as though it was in God's plan for me to really tap into the community and just do different things to spark a plug to where, like, people see my progression, people actually see what I'm doing in the community and my progress, because this is my calling, to be in the community and to help others and just to be there for a kid that really doesn't dream big. Like he may see me and dream bigger because he knows that I'm from the same community. So to come back home and do that, it just means the world to me. Yeah,
and I think that's one of the most important things for our youth to understand. And as an individual who grew up on the outside of basketball, but I had the opportunity to know and to watch all you guys grow and to become great at what you guys are doing, I think a lot of what people miss is the hard work and dedication that went into that. Could you share with our youth a lot of that? Because a lot of them have the idea because they have talent and can dribble a ball or can shoot one, their dreams immediately become, well, I can go to the NBA or go overseas. But a lot of the backdoor work, the education, the hard work outside the gym or in the gym, things like that.
Yeah, like what most people don't understand is how difficult it is to be successful. When you're a kid, you don't know. Like you're just trying to follow other people's lead. But for me, it was a point in time where I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that, making it out of my surroundings was even possible. But it just, like, one day it just struck a match and it just told me, like, listen, I want more for myself. I want to make it out of my situation and to be able to take care of my family and things like that. And I continue to work hard, and no matter how many times I failed, I got right back up because I wanted it that much. Like, if you want to be successful and you want to reach your full potential, it's going to be things that you're going to have to go through that. It's going to be tough days. There's going to be times where you don't want to practice. It's going to be times where you don't want to study. But if you want it bad enough, you're gonna you're gonna get it, because quitting is not an option. Like, quitting wasn't an option for me. Like, settling for less wasn't an option for me. I wanted to make it. I wanted to do different things to set myself apart from everyone else. Like, if everybody was getting up and going to school, I wanted to make sure I got up 2 hours early so I can run the hills before I went to school. I wanted to work out at Jerry Burrell before, like, the bus came. Just little different things like that kids normally don't do because they don't want it. But I really wanted it, and it all came together because I reached my potential.
That's awesome. Growing up as a young man in Hamilton Hill, you know the history. You read all the news articles. You've seen everything negative about what it is that they've had to say, or the perspective or the idea of what it is that comes out of our community. How did you deal with that as a kid?
I mean, I just, with everything that I've seen and what they put out there, You know, they don't understand that the negative things that they put out there, it makes it hard for a kid from Schenectady to dream big when that's all that they see. Like they look on a TV, like that's all that they see. Like you don't see too many positive things. So for a kid to be young and to see that on the news and to walk outside of his door and to see that, it's almost impossible for him to want more or to dream big because like that's all he's seeing, you know. But if he sees shows like this, if he can go to youth programs and and see people, successful people making it, and people like myself and you, like they can see that like our success, like they can be a part of it, like they can have what we have, then they'll be able to dream bigger and things like that. But it's difficult when they put that negative stuff out there, and if they're going to do that, they have to, show positive things as well. So kids can, they can understand what goes on, but they can also know that it's another outlet, and the only way that they're going to know that is with shows like this and different youth programs and, a lot of different things that kids could look forward to, and they can start to believe and dream bigger.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most powerful things about where we're at right now, and looking at, 15, 16 years ago where a lot of us were and where our city was as a whole, and to see now so many powerful and wonderful and positive things going on. If you look around, it's a lot of members of the community like yourself, like myself, like Jakey, like Mark Lyons, like Willie Dean, like all these wonderful, Schenectady grassroots programs. And shout out to Schenectady for the last few weeks of the summer.
Absolutely.
Because it has been absolutely amazing. The events that have been going on, the amounts of people we've been able to bring together, and the energy, amazing. The camaraderie. Really talk about that. Like, what change have you seen since we were kids to what we're seeing now?
I mean, to be honest, what I liked about Schenectady the most is that I lived on Schenectady Street. So all I had to do was come down to Jared Burrell and just witness and see, my people coming together to have fun, music, hot dogs, Jared Burrell League. Like, that's what I loved about Schenectady, And as I got older, it kind of faded away, and it was, and that feeling was missing, So for me to come back home and to be able to do it, I can to help the community out and to put different events, as well as yourself and James Thomas, like we putting together these events and Double H Day, like for us to do that and to get that feeling back, it means, it means more to me than my own success, because when the community is a success, I play a big part in that, So for like the weekends that's like we're experiencing right now with my tournament and with what's going on with you guys next week and what happened yesterday, it's just so much love and so much unity, and it's just like we're getting that feeling back, and that, like from like I'm about to leave to go back overseas, but to really experience that and feel that before I leave, it means it's priceless.
Yeah. And I think that's really important for people to not only understand, but to recognize is that change in energy, because when something bad happens in our impoverished communities, we're real quick to see it and to cause judgment and to talk about it. But when we have positive things like we've had the last few days, there's 300, 400 people in the park 2 days in a row, and no violence, no arrests, no shootings, no anything. So it's been great to really engage and to just experience that. And I found myself at times even standing off in the background, just looking at it like, wow, like this is really, really great. So
it's
like,
really happening.
I think I've noticed some of the things you've been doing is speaking with our kids in the community and working out with them. Really talk about that and how important that's been for you.
I just really understand and know that God blessed me to be a blessing on the others. So it wasn't for me to go in the park and work out and to see kids, at times doing negative things and not really being taught the right things. For me to do my workouts in the park and just to go home knowing that I see that, I'm doing my community an injustice. So what I told myself in the beginning of the summer, I said, I'm going to work out at the park, but I'm going to also spend 2 or 3 hours, with the YMCA kids, just really sitting down with them, talking to them, seeing what's on their mind, and really gathering their thoughts so I can help them in any way that I can. And then it just developed into everything that everybody's seeing right now, and it's like, I feel like that's my calling, to be able to reach kids in like a different way. It doesn't even have anything to do with sports, because the people that I public speak to around the country, it's like, they don't even play sports. Like these are kids that, are from broken homes. Their mom got divorced, like their mom maybe, on drugs or something like that. So I'm kind of reaching them on another level, like letting them know, like regardless what your circumstances is, you can make it. Because I seen it happen. Like I'm a living testimony. Like you can make it. So when I'm speaking to these kids in the parks, like that's what I'm telling them. You know, and they respect it because they know that I'm from here. You know, and they know that I made it out of the same circumstances that they're trying to make it out of. I made it out of that. So I'm more believable. You know, it's unfortunate that they may not believe in their teachers or like the people that's trying to help them, but for me to come back to the neighborhood and be that outlet for them and to allow them to dream bigger, it does just as much for me as it does for them, you know, so, yeah.
Well, no, and that's part of what was a great conversation we were having recently, in which you were like, it's great that people and that these youth see you as a success, but you also advocated for them looking at their teachers and at other people as a success. I mean, really speak to that when it comes to our youth, as far as them being able to look and see others as successes.
Yeah, like for me, I spoke about it a lot this summer. You know, a lot of these kids, you know, they just feel as though if they're not playing sports or if they're not a singer, if they're not, you know, like they look at the TV and seek success, but it's so many other ways, and it's so much more success than, you know, playing on a court, dribbling the basketball, or running with a football. You know, like your teachers, believe it or not, they're a success story. That's what they wanted to do. You feel what I mean? Like, you know, you could see somebody that's starting a business or he got a restaurant. Kids actually don't look at that as a success, but that's what they set out to do. That was that's what their dream was, and they did it. You know, so. And I'm trying to tell kids that, because when they see that there's different outlets to be successful, then success is not as difficult as what it may seem. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people is like short, like they're not gonna play basketball, they're not physical enough to play football, but they can still make it and they can still do something. You know, like these kids that are watching this right now. Like if you're watching this, like you could go into film, you can go into, you know, public speaking, you can go into a lot of different things, and that's a success as well. You know, you don't have to be tall like me, like you don't have to be, you know, physical to play football. There's a lot of different ways that you can be successful, and that's what I try to tell these kids, so they can, you know, like they can dream bigger, and like their hopes is bigger, you know, because like they look at it like, well, why I'm going to even come to JBL when I can't play? You know, you may want to be a coach. Like you may want to teach somebody how to backflip or something like that. There's so many different ways, you know, that you can be successful, and that's what I try to tell these kids.
That's powerful. As an individual who's now taken on the role of working with our youth in our community, what are some of the things you feel we need to do moving forward to create more successful situations for our kids?
I mean, first, honestly, I feel as though, you know, and what I witnessed this week is that, you know, Schenectady as a whole, we can fight amongst each other and we're separated. But what I really noticed this weekend is that we all want the same things. Like we all want, you know, the community to come together and get that feeling back. We all want these kids, you know, to dream bigger and for them to be safe and for them to make it out of the obstacles and things that they go through. So if we want the same things, first as adults, we have to come together, come to the round table and just put it all on the table. Like, what do we want to do? How can we get this done? How can we come together and really help our community? If we do that, I feel as though, you know, like we're stronger in numbers, you know. So, and it's hard because a lot of different people have different agendas, and you know, like they want it their own way and things like that. But the way we're going to help this community for real is if we all come together and really, because like we all want the same things. You know, so if we can do that and really sit down and pinpoint what we want for these kids and different, you know, things that we could do with the kids, I think like that's the start. If we can do that, I feel as though we'll see a change faster.
And I think that's really important because again, we have a lot of great people doing a lot of great work.
Absolutely. We want the same things,
but we just don't, for whatever reason, we're struggling at pulling everything together. And I hope that this weekend was really a move in the right direction for that. Again, next weekend, Back to School Classic and Community Day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Central Park. Come out again. Will be, you know, there'll be free haircuts and free food. You get the opportunity to engage with everyone who's been out for the last few weekends doing some work. There'll be a great basketball tournament, 8 men's team, 8 youth teams, and everybody is more than welcome. And I want you to hear this now. If you are a community organization or community leader or someone who prides yourself on working in the community or doing this work, you are invited to get a hold of me now and set up a table or some sort of resource. I don't want anybody to feel like they can't be involved or they shouldn't be involved. Everyone is being invited now. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be out here with our community next weekend. We have 3 wonderful days planned. And while I'm a very intelligent person, I can't come up with that much stuff for 3 days. So the more people that come out and become engaged with the community, the better. So Mr. Freeman, I think if one last message you would really like to pass along to the youth who we really want to get this to in the community, who may be struggling, and you understanding what's going on in their homes and in their community, what is that message of hope you want to pass to them?
Well, I'm gonna take it a step further because like I graduated from the University of Massachusetts, you know, and a lot of people from my school and alumni, like they reached out to me yesterday, and you know, like they had a lot of positive things to say to me as far as like my progression and what I'm doing with my own community. And Dr. J actually reached out to me, like he's alumni from my school, and he just really shared with me like he, you know, like he sees my progression and he knows what my calling is, and I'm doing exactly that. And when I want to say I was a sophomore, and I met with him at a dinner, and he was just telling me like, listen, Ray, like I know you're talented, I know you're passionate about the game, but I can give you a few things to really help your development. And one thing he told me was to make decisions with my heart, follow God's lead, and always be loyal to the people around you. You know, and like I really stuck with that, and I really, you know, I always dreamed big. I always loved unconditionally. He told me that as well. He was like, love unconditionally, you know, because there's going to be people that's in your corner that, you know, you're going to have to love unconditionally because like you need them people around you. And that's what I did. And, you know, like I explained that to him when I was on the phone with him, and he was like, it seems like you did exactly what I told you to do, because like your community sees that, like, you know, like you're making decisions with your heart. You may not have the time to do certain things, but you're going out and you're being selfless and you're doing it. So, you know, what I tell the community and like the little kids that I see is just to dream big and just to make decisions with your heart, you know, and to love unconditionally. If you can do those things, I think you'll be fine. You know, it's easier said than done, but if you can learn to do those things, like I think you'll be fine and you'll end up in a good place.
All right, well, that's it for today with our guests, Ms. Kalissa Martinez and Mr. Rashaun Freeman. You kind of heard it here first from the youth. Whatever it is you want to do, continue to stay focused. You can make it happen. And then you heard that message reiterated from Mr. Freeman. So I think we had a good message passed today. We thank you guys for tuning in to #SaveOurStreetsTV. Have a great day, and we'll see you this weekend.